For only by decoding it can destiny flow without obstruction.
Endless thanks to our members, chosen lights on this path. Let us begin with a truth that many ignore, but every chosen one secretly feels. Life has never been random for you. The events, the betrayals, the patterns that keep circling back, even the moments when your own family looked at you as if you did not belong, none of that was coincidence. You were marked before you took your first breath. If you have the letter M on your palm, or if the crescent moon curves perfectly in the lines, then you already know. You did not come here for an ordinary existence. You came encoded. And tonight, we are going to break open one of the codes that has kept you wondering why destiny sometimes feels delayed, why blessings arrive but slip away, and why the heaviness of resistance presses against you, even when you pray, fast, and do everything to align. The answer has been right in front of you in the final digit of your birth year. Pause for a moment. Think of that number. Maybe you were born in 1982, maybe 1967, or 2005. Whatever it is, the last digit is not a filler. It is not random. It is the gate that reveals what spiritual weight you carried from another existence and what blockade has been set in your current timeline. Chosen ones, your blockages are not curses in the way people think. They are filters. Filters meant to test whether you will break through or surrender to the illusion. The letter M and the crescent moon were not given to you for decoration. They are divine stamps declaring that you were sent here with the potential to decode reality. And tonight, I will show you how the last digit of your year of birth is one of the first locks to pick. If you are still here, I know you are not here by accident. Many videos you could have clicked, many distractions waiting to steal your attention, but you stopped on this one. That is confirmation. That is alignment. Because this channel is not just another voice speaking for clicks, this is a tool for the ones heaven marked, the ones who carry spiritual scars. Strange hours of the night and see repeating numbers no matter how much they try to ignore them. If you are tired of surface-level comfort and are hungry for the sharp, raw truth, then let's enter the code together. Now let me tell you what makes this message different. Other voices will tell you to think positive or wait for your time. But the truth is, positivity without decoding the hidden resistance is like pouring pure water into a dirty container. It cannot quench you until you cleanse the blockage first. The last digit of your birth year points exactly to that resistance. It is not punishment. It is the invisible battlefield you were born into. If you understand it, you can break it. If you ignore it, you repeat it. For the chosen marked with M and the crescent moon, these numbers carry a double weight. Ordinary people born in the same year may feel echoes of the same patterns, but for you, the intensity is multiplied, because the adversary knows you carry light. Because destiny has tied you to a mission far greater than survival. And so, the resistance that corresponds to your digit was amplified, as if to see whether you could still push through. Before I reveal what each number means, I want you to breathe in this truth. The code is not here to shame you. It is here to expose what has silently fought you. You are not crazy for feeling blocked. You are not cursed beyond redemption. You are awakening to the pattern. And the moment you can name it, you weaken its grip. Let us begin with the sequence. If your last digit is 0, your block is cycles of repetition. This means you keep seeing the same tests over and over. Relationships that collapse in similar ways. Jobs that end with the same frustrations. Even dreams that repeat. The 0 is a circle, and it symbolizes being trapped in loops. For chosen ones, this can feel like living in a maze. The enemy's tactic is to keep you circling until you tire and give up. But the secret is this: the 0 also represents completion. When you recognize the loop, you can step outside of it and claim mastery over it. Awareness is your sword. If your last digit is 1, your block is isolation, invisibility. You may not be alone physically. People may even admire you. But deep down, you feel misunderstood, unseen, or separated. The 1 stands tall, but solitary. For chosen ones, this often translates to seasons where you cry out to God asking, "Why am I the only one carrying this weight?" The tactic here is to convince you that solitude means abandonment. But in truth, solitude for the chosen is preparation. The 1 means leadership, and you were separated not to punish you, but to strengthen you for the path only you can walk. If your last digit is 2, your block is division in relationships. You may experience constant betrayals, splits, or misunderstandings with people you love. The 2 represents duality connection, but also conflict. For chosen ones, the enemy often uses those closest to you as instruments of pain, making you question your worth. Yet 2 also carries the power of union. Once you see the trick, you stop blaming yourself for every failed connection and begin aligning with divine partnerships meant for your mission. If your last digit is 3, your block is distractions and scattered energy. Opportunities may appear but lead nowhere. Your mind may jump between visions, and you struggle to anchor focus. The 3 carries creativity, but when twisted, it becomes chaos. For chosen ones, the world throws endless noise to keep you from building what you were born to create. But once you master discipline, the 3 turns into divine expression, and what once was distraction becomes unstoppable flow. If your last digit is 4, your block is foundations shaken. You may struggle with stability, financially, emotionally, or even spiritually. The 4 is the number of structure, but in its shadow, it means constant instability. For chosen ones, this can look like sudden losses, unexpected shifts, or feeling like the ground is never firm beneath you. But remember, only what is unshakable can remain. Every collapse is pruning. Every shaking is making room for a foundation that no storm can destroy. If your last digit is 5, your block is restlessness and escapes. You may feel like you can never settle, like you are always running from something, even when you don't know what. The 5 is freedom, but in its distorted form, it becomes avoidance. For chosen ones, this can manifest as addictions, distractions, or constantly starting over. But when you embrace the discipline of staying still, the 5 turns into adventure, not escape. You transform the urge to run into the courage to expand. If your last digit is 6, your block is burden of responsibility. You may feel like you carry the weight of everyone else's struggles. The 6 is the caregiver, the nurturer, but in shadow it becomes martyrdom. For chosen ones, this is the enemy's way of draining your energy, making you pour everyone else until nothing remains for your own mission. But once you realize that carrying others is not the same as saving them, you step into balanced compassion. You become a healer, not a hostage. If your last digit is 7, your block is isolation through mystery. The 7 is the seeker, the deep thinker, the one who sees beyond the veil. But in its shadow, it isolates you, making you feel like no one understands your depth. For chosen ones, this often comes with strange dreams, visions, and downloads that leave you feeling alien on Earth. The tactic is to make you despise your gift. But once you embrace it, the 7 becomes divine wisdom, your uniqueness becoming your authority. If your last digit is 8, your block is cycles of loss and gain. You may rise in success, only to lose everything again. The 8 is the infinity loop, a sign of abundance, but also of constant ups and downs. For chosen ones, this can feel like spiritual sabotage. Doors open, then slam shut. But the truth is, every rise and fall was training you to hold abundance without fear. Once mastered, the 8 is unstoppable prosperity. If your last digit is 9, your block is constant endings. You may see relationships, jobs, or dreams die just when you thought they would flourish. The 9 is completion, but in its shadow, it feels like endless loss. For chosen ones, this can create despair, the feeling that nothing ever lasts. But the hidden power of the 9 is rebirth. Every ending is an invitation to graduate. You are not cursed with endings. You are marked for constant renewal. Now pause. Let these words sink in. Which number called your name? Which pattern mirrors your own journey? Chosen ones, these blockages are not here to break you. They are here to prove that you are the one who can break them. The very digit that reveals your blockade is the digit that also hides your breakthrough. I know this message has already stirred something inside you. Maybe you are seeing your entire life replay before you. Eyes. Maybe you are realizing that the delays, the betrayals, the losses were not meaningless. They were patterns written in your code. And now, you see the enemy's tactic for what it is. Knowledge is the first step to freedom. Chosen ones, before we go deeper, let me pause and speak directly to you, not as a voice on a screen, not as a channel chasing numbers, but as one heart to another. If what you've heard so far has resonated, if you felt chills or tears, if it finally put words to what you've been carrying silently for years, then I want to invite you into this space fully. Subscribe, not as a formality, but as a way of anchoring yourself in a community of others who bear the same marks, the same midnight awakenings, the same unexplainable burdens. This is not just about watching a video and moving on. This is about staying close to the fire so it doesn't go out when the distractions of the world pull at you again. And while you're here, I'd love for you to drop in the comment what you want me to decode next. Do you want us to explore the link between repeating numbers and dreams? Do you want us to uncover why some chosen ones are attacked through family more than strangers? Or maybe you want a deep dive into the mysteries of the crescent moon that sits on your palm like a celestial scar. Tell me, because this is not just my voice, this is our collective awakening. Now, let's return to the code. We spoke about the last digit of your birth year and how it reveals the type of resistance you face. But numbers never stand alone. Just as you don't live in isolation, but in a web of experiences, the digit you carry works with other signs, symbols, and times to paint a bigger picture. And for chosen ones, two of the most powerful confirmations are the repeating numbers you see and the sacred markings on your palms. Think of this as a triangle. One point is your birth year digit, the code of your blockage. Another point is your repeating numbers, the code O, timing. The final point is your hand markings, the code of your identity. Together, they form a blueprint of why you are here and what has been fighting you. Let's take an example. Suppose your birth year ends with a 7. As I shared earlier, this points to isolation through mystery, feeling like no one truly understands the depth of your visions. Now, imagine you also keep seeing repeating 1111 on clocks or receipts. That sequence is not just aesthetic. For chosen ones, 1111 is the gate number the moment the veil thins. It means heaven is trying to realign your sense of loneliness into an awareness of divine presence. The number 7, plus the repeating 1111, shows that your isolation was never abandonment. It was preparation to hear frequencies most cannot perceive. Or maybe your last digit is a 4, shaky foundations. Now, if you've been seeing 888 in dreams, addresses, or even total amounts on transactions, that's not coincidence. 888 is a number of infinite abundance. So when with the instability of 4, it shows your life has been shaking because the old structures could not contain the abundance heaven intends to send. The two codes confirm each other. And then, of course, there are the palms. The M carved into your hands is the seal of mandate. It is heaven's way of saying you were given spiritual authority before you had language to describe it. The crescent moon is the seal of vision. It means you are meant to see in darkness what others miss. But these markings also serve as magnets. They attract both divine favor and spiritual resistance. Why? Because when the enemy recognizes the seal, he recognizes the threat. This is why your birth digit matters so much. Imagine carrying the seal of vision, the crescent moon, but being born in a year that ends with 3. Block of distractions. That means your sight has always been clouded with noise, temptations, or countless unfinished paths. And yet, if you see it for what it is, you realize your gift was never it was simply under siege. Once the siege is exposed, you reclaim clarity. Let me go even deeper. These numbers are not just for now. They carry echoes of ancestral memory. Many of you are not the first in your bloodline to carry these blockages. Maybe your mother, your grandfather, or even someone further back carried the same digit and the same cycles. That's why some of you feel like you're fighting battles older than yourself. You are. But here is the difference. You carry the seal, and they did not. The M and the crescent mark you as the one appointed to break what they could not. Do you understand how powerful that is? You are not cursed. You are chosen to end the curse. Let's look again at the digits with this expanded lens. 0 cycles of repetition. If you see 1212 often, it confirms you are called to break generational loops. 12 is government. You are meant to govern what governed your ancestors. 1 isolation and visibility. If 333 follows you, it means heaven is surrounding your solitude with the trinity of protection. You are never truly alone. 2. Division in relationships. If 777 appears, it means your betrayals are preparing you for divine partnerships that will carry wisdom and destiny. 3. Distractions and scattered energy. If 444 chases you, it's heaven urging you to anchor, to build, to stop running and establish foundations. 4. Foundations shaken. If 888 repeats, it means every collapse was preparing you for an abundant structure that cannot be shaken. 5. Restlessness and escapes. If 999 shows itself, it's the reminder that endings are not failures, they are expansions. 6. Burden of responsibility. If 1010 repeats, it's calling you to step out of martyrdom and into balance, 2 complete cycles aligning. 7. Isolation through mystery. If 1111 floods your path, you are stepping through gates of revelation few will ever access. 8. Cycles of loss and gain. If 555 comes, it's heaven telling you the turbulence is transition you are being. Reform to handle lasting prosperity. 9. Constant endings. If 222 surrounds you, it means what ends is clearing space for divine alignment, for partnerships that matter. Do you see how the codes interlock? The digit gives you the type of battle. The repeating numbers give you the timing of breakthrough, and the hand markings declare your identity and authority. Together, they explain why you could never fit in, why you were misunderstood, and why you often felt like destiny was delayed. But now you see it clearly. You were never delayed. You were being decoded. Chosen ones, listen carefully. You will begin to notice even more synchronicities after this message, because once your spirit receives truth, heaven confirms it with signs. Some of you will start seeing your digit appear on license plates, on digital clocks, even in dreams tonight. That is not coincidence. That is heaven's way of saying, yes. This is your code. Now act on it. and acting on it means refusing to let. Define you. If you are a 0, refuse the loop. If you are a 5, refuse to run. If you are a 9, refuse despair at endings. The enemy only wins when you agree with the shadow of your digit. Heaven wins when you transform it. So let me ask you now, which digit are you? And which repeating numbers keep showing up in your life? Drop it in the comments. Don't keep it silent. Because when you share, someone else who carries the same digit will see it and realize they are not fighting alone. This is how we build not just a channel, but a community of awakening. Chosen ones, by now you understand that the last digit of your birth year is not random. It reveals the very type of resistance you were born to overcome. But here is where we need to go deeper, because the adversary is not creative, but he is consistent. He studies your code before you even understand it. He looks at your digit, he sees your palms, and he knows what will keep you distracted, delayed, or destroyed. Not aware of the trick, you repeat cycles endlessly. But if you are aware, you disarm his main weapon. Let me show you how each block has been used against you and how to flip it into power. If your digit is 0 cycles of repetition, the enemy's tactic has been to exhaust you, to make you believe that since nothing changes, nothing ever will. He whispers that life is just circles, that you are stuck in the family patterns of failure, poverty, or heartbreak. But here's the secret. The 0 is also the seed of eternity. If you look closely, every loop has a point of exit, a doorway. When you recognize the loop, you can graduate from it. Chosen ones with 0 are meant to be cycle breakers. The very fact that you feel the heaviness of repetition is proof that you carry the authority to end it. If your digit is 1, isolation, invisibility, the adversary makes you feel abandoned. He surrounds you with people, yet makes you feel invisible in their presence. You shine, but no one celebrates you. Give, but no one reciprocates. Why? Because the enemy knows isolation wounds a chosen one's heart. But here is the truth. The 1 is the staff of leadership. Leaders are never trained in crowds. They are forged in caves. If you carry the 1, solitude is not rejection, it is refinement. When you embrace your isolation as training, you stop begging for validation and step into authority. If your digit is 2, division in relationships, the adversary exploits your heart. He sends betrayal through family, friends, or lovers so often that you start to close your spirit. You begin to say, maybe I was not meant to love. But the 2 is not a curse. It is the code of alignment. For chosen ones, every broken relationship was meant to sharpen your discernment. You are not meant to bond with everyone. You are meant to recognize covenant from counterfeit. And when you finally allow heaven to align you, the 2 becomes your strongest force, divine partnership that multiplies destiny. If your digit is 3, distractions and scattered energy, the enemy attacks your focus. He floods your life with options, ideas, temptations, even false opportunities. You start everything but finish nothing. Why? Because the adversary fears what will happen if you focus. The 3 is creative fire, and once disciplined, you become unstoppable. For chosen ones, the strategy is simple. Refuse to chase noise. Pick one vision, anchor it, and let heaven multiply it. The 3 in its redeemed form becomes expression so pure that it silences distractions forever. If your digit is 4, foundations shaken, the adversary constantly shakes your stability. Jobs collapse. Friendships vanish. Health suddenly shifts. He wants you to feel unsafe so you will never build. But the 4 is the builder's stone. Every collapse was pruning. Every loss was an earthquake to remove weak foundations. For chosen ones, the shaking means you are destined to build something eternal. Once you understand that the collapse is not destruction, but construction, you stop fearing instability. You realize the 4 was always about anchoring heaven's design. If your digit is 5, restlessness and escapes, the adversary tempts you with endless running. He makes you believe that settling equals death. So you never commit, not to relationships, not to visions, not even to your own calling. He whispers that the next city, the next job, the next person will finally satisfy you. But the 5 is freedom, not fleeing. For chosen ones, this restlessness was meant to be transformed into expansion, into traveling dimensions of purpose, not escaping reality. When you stop running and face the mission, the 5 becomes the explorer, the pioneer of new ground. If your digit is 6, burden of responsibility, the enemy weighs you down with guilt. He makes you believe that unless you carry everyone else, you are selfish. And so you burn out, drained, empty, trying to save what was never yours to save. But the 6 is balance, not martyrdom. For chosen ones, this block turns into healing. Once you understand boundaries, you were called to guide, not to chain yourself to every sinking ship. When you release what is not yours, the 6 becomes harmony, family restoration, and deep compassion. If your digit is 7, isolation through mystery, the adversary uses your depth against you. He makes you believe your visions are madness. He makes others mock your dreams so you'll stay silent. But the 7 is the prophet's number. For chosen ones, it is the mark of revelation. Your isolation is not insanity, it is initiation. The enemy fears your voice because it pierces veils. Once you accept your depth, instead of hiding it, the 7 becomes the lamp in the dark, guiding others through mysteries. If your digit is 8, cycles of loss and gain, the adversary attacks your confidence. He lets you taste success, then rips it away, so you will fear prosperity. He wants you to believe abundance is temporary, unsafe, fleeting. But the 8 is infinity, unending flow. For chosen ones, every rise and fall was training. Heaven was teaching you how to handle abundance without worshiping it. Once you embrace this, the 8 becomes dominion, the ability to multiply blessings without losing yourself. If your digit is 9, constant endings, the adversary floods you with losses. Dreams collapse just before breakthrough. People walk away right when you begin to trust. He wants you to believe life is cruel, that nothing lasts. But the 9 is rebirth. For chosen ones, endings are doorways. Every loss is a graduation. Every death of a season is the birth of a higher one. When you stop fearing endings, the 9 becomes power, the authority to resurrect what others thought was gone forever. Chosen ones, do you see the pattern? The very number that has been used to wound you carries the medicine to heal you. The enemy only twists what was holy to begin with. Your digit is not a curse, it is a calling. Now, let's tie this back to your palms. The M is the seal of mandate, the crescent. Moon is the seal of sight. Together, they are proof that you were designed to flip your block. Ordinary people may never decode these digits. They may stay trapped in cycles until they leave this earth. But for you, the seal means awareness, and awareness means authority. Let me speak plainly. The adversary targeted you harder because you are chosen. He saw the M in your hand and knew you would carry leadership. He saw the crescent moon and knew you would carry vision. That is why your digit's block has been so heavy. But that is also why your breakthrough will shake generations. Think about it. A 0 breaking cycles doesn't just free themselves, it frees their entire family line. A 2 healing betrayal doesn't just find love, they restore covenant for their descendants. A 7 embracing vision doesn't just dream, they open portals of revelation for the world. So now, let me ask you, which digit is yours?